Come on back. Come on back. You gotta do that again.
So something I did was, did you see that it said, did it tell you guys that I created a marker?
Mm-mm.
Okay, there's a thing that says mark clip, and so I put a marker, and that's a way, I don't know for sure, but that's a way to,
Oh, I'm editing that out. That's gonna be gone.
yeah, that's a way to kind of just be able to quickly look at it and be like, oh, that was the end of that take, and here's where it officially starts.
See, I'm trying to see if that music will, because I didn't see it. Didn't show me. So I'm
What
gonna
do you
keep
mean?
playing with that. I'm not going. It's right here, but I don't know how to. Steeler Nation Midwest coming at you today uh, with a playoff preview for the NFL. This week coming weekend, there's some big games, and I have some guests that are going to join me in this podcast. The same guys that I had with me before. We wanted some other people, but some things took place that were, technology is just crazy. But I'm gonna bring in Ryan Heffley and Troy. Troy will be with us in a minute, and George Jefferson should be on screen too right now. George, you there? Heffley, you can unmute yourself.
Yes,
Yep, I
sir.
got you, Coach.
Okay. Um, so basically, we have what we have. Got some pretty good matchups this weekend. Um, 1 and 2, basically, they're not playing with the format. When did this format start taking place? When was that?
Last year, year
2 years
before, it's
ago
pretty recently.
during the pandemic.
That sounds right around that time.
Yeah. Okay. So they went to 7 teams each conference. So
hmm
they had to somebody had to get a bye.
hmm
So because it's uneven. So Kansas City gets a bye, Detroit gets a bye. That Detroit one was a good one. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but that was a playoff game.
Yes, it was.
Because Minnesota and Detroit, whoever won that game, got the number one seed throughout the playoffs, and the other one dropped all the way to 5. You know, and they got to travel to the Los Angeles to play the Rams. So, but let's start with the AFC first. Let's start with Georgia's Broncos because I'm hey man, Peyton's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. I got to give it to him. He made a good pick with Bo. See if that works out.
Yeah, yeah, I just kind of want to grace everybody with some Bo Nix propaganda real quick. He put up some great numbers this year. It was a slow start. He really got rolling after week 4. But when we talk about, I don't know if you all looked at the all-time like rookie passing touchdowns or overall touchdowns, but second place, right behind Justin Herbert. So I think Justin has 31. He's got 29 as a rookie, so that's pretty significant deal. And I want to say he ended the year with I want to say the most passing yards, but Jaden Daniels put up a hell of a season as well, so that can't be ignored. Did Rookie of the Year come out yet? I meant to look.
No,
Hasn't yet, no, but it should be pretty soon. He's a contender for it for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. It-
Him and
It's nice.
him and the guy, him Nix and the guy
Daniels.
and what you just said his name in
Yeah, Jaden
DC.
Daniels. Yeah.
And I think the other guy would have probably got some publicity too because he played pretty well the last couple games down there in Atlanta. He didn't play bad as a rookie, huh? They didn't make the playoffs though.
No,
He's
no, he did.
he didn't have as good as year as a receiver or the quarterback for sure, but no, I think there might be some potential there. He's awful early. He didn't get enough snaps really. I think the Kirk Cousins debacle, whatever you want to call that was a disaster. If they were going to go Penix, they should have just gone with some cheap veteran to keep him for that. You don't need to mortgage your whole future, and that's what they did. But
Yeah,
we're not here to talk about crappy teams. We're talking about good teams.
and we get
I
that out
think
the way.
Broncos wise, I'm really impressed with Bo Nix too. I mean, I think Bo Nix with Sean Payton is kind of a good matchup. I think Sean Payton makes almost everybody not named Russell better
Mm-hmm.
because for whatever reason it didn't work with Russell. He's had a much better year with the Steelers than he had with the
Until now,
Broncos.
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I was gonna we'll get to that in a minute. His last few weeks haven't been great, but overall, like whole body of work, I think he's been better than you could have asked for. But no, Bo Nix is. I mean, he looks like a dude, looks like a player. They got some good pieces. Not, I mean, they got two pretty good receivers. I like their pass rushers. Their pass rushers are good, and they're just a solid team, and they're well coached. And I think Bills fans who think that's going to be a walkover are in for a rude awakening because I think they're pretty tough. They haven't really beaten a playoff team since week 3 or 4, but they haven't also been destroyed either. There's been some close games, some good games, and who knows, man? They go +2 in turnovers. They could knock off Buffalo. It's possible for sure.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see how the rookie looks playoff time. Yeah, Buffalo's no one to play with. We all know they had a great season.
Hey, should have gave me new toys. Hey, I just wanted to introduce Mr. Bennett there, Kansas City Chiefs fan. He's on a bye week. Him and Hef, they're
On
on
the
bye week.
bye.
That's right. We're just kicking our feet up
Man,
this
we're
week.
talking about the Broncos right now. We're working our way up. So they got to play the Bills. And also, man, Broncos took a page out of Pittsburgh book. They led the league in sacks this year with 60.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a big deal, man. Like getting pressure on the quarterback is there's no way to get around that. If they're getting after your quarterback, you're cut. And not to mention they've got probably, I'm going to say it, the best corner in football right now.
yeah.
You pair those together, and granted, they work off each other for sure. I'm sure coverage sack wise, they had a lot of those. I didn't watch a lot of Denver Broncos games, but man, you start pairing that stuff together, your defense, you don't have to be really good anywhere else. I mean, if you can cover and you can get after the quarterback, you're all right.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the Bills do. I think we're gonna see them try. They're gonna have to have a dominant like run attack, and they're also. I think we're gonna see some interesting boots, some things to get those defensive rushers out of position because Josh can move. So if you put Josh Allen, if they have a mobile game plan, that's gonna be an interesting wrinkle. Because surely they're planning for this pass rush, and Denver's gonna have a counter to that. A counter to the counter. Can Denver
Cooper.
run the ball? That's been the question all year.
Amari Cooper's back too. I heard that yesterday. So I guess I didn't even know he was banged up that bad, but I guess he missed some games or uh, the last game or so. They set him out, but they said he's ready to go. I don't know what that does for Buffalo. I didn't really get to see Buffalo play much this year.
He's fine. He's not the impact player they thought they were getting, I guess. I mean, that's my perception of it. I mean, you look up his stats, but he can't have had more than 30, 35 catches, which for Amari Cooper, you're expecting double that at least. I mean, you're expecting him to be the guy, and he's just fine.
It's just okay. Is he their number one guy if he's out there? Or is there somebody else up there? I really don't think. I mean, I know the quarterback. I know who that is. A couple people on defense, the linebackers, but
I think the Shakir guy is probably their number one guy, I would say,
Mhm.
but the Buffalo's kind of an enigma in that they don't really have a number one guy. They've got a lot of guys with a lot of catches. Like I think they probably lead the league in guys with 25 plus catches just because they really kind of throw the ball around. And honestly, the Buffalo kind of reminds me of what the Chiefs were doing last year a little bit, where they're putting everything on Josh Allen's back and saying carry us because dude doesn't have I mean, he's got a really good offensive line and they got a good running game. Granted, he's part of that, but as far as drop back, like he doesn't have Gabe Davis, he doesn't have Amari Cooper, he doesn't have those guys that you've seen for years. And is Josh Allen playing at an MVP type level? Is that enough? It might be. I don't know. He's awful good.
yeah, Denver though, I'm impressed with them, and I can we had a chance to go watch them play. Myself, Troy, and George went up there, and we got to see them play Pittsburgh in person. And I mean, you just know Sean Payton's going to turn. I mean, no matter what happened with him and Russell, I didn't agree with how he handled that. But, and that's even if Russell didn't come to Pittsburgh, I didn't agree with how he handled it. I just think that Russell was due more respect than that. But it's working out for Payton. He got who he wanted. And I think they said that he already knew he wanted Bo Nixon. I mean, Bo Nix. They already wanted him. He already wanted him, so he knew that going into the draft, he knew who he wanted, and he got him. He got his guy, and I don't know if he'll ever be like a Drew Brees type, but he's right now. He looks pretty good. Looks like he'll be one of the dominant quarterbacks in the league in the near future. Somebody to be reckoned with. I say I don't know. The Broncos they got a tough task going up there, going to Buffalo. It's hard to win up there, man. The weather probably shouldn't bother Denver as much, but it's a different type of cold in the Northeast than it is in the Rockies. The Rockies, you get a lot of snow. Back east, Northeast, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, places like that, you get the snow and you get the wind chill factor, and you get moisture. I mean, it's different. You know what I'm saying? It's a different for a player, man. And that's those of us that played football, we know when it gets cold out, you better still like to hit because it don't feel good.
Well, and the track record of the NFL will tell you rookie quarterbacks on the road, it doesn't go well
Don't work well for
typically.
them.
I mean, and hey, I'm a big Bo Nix fan. I just kind of browsing 29 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. If you take away week 1 and week 2 when he was 0-4, I mean, that's good. I mean,
Yeah,
those are good numbers, and he can play.
because he was having bench numbers, and when I say bench numbers, I'm not even talking to football. I'm talking about basketball. He was a guy coming off it's like a guy coming off the bench scoring 4 points a game.
Hmm.
At first, I mean, what was he throwing for like 100, maybe 10 yards, 110?
Yeah, just
Crazy.
yeah.
Hey,
I think that was all Peyton's doing, though. Now
I,
that I look at it, I think that was Peyton's way of working him in as an NFL quarterback.
I could
He
see
ain't
that.
giving too much. You know what I'm saying? And it might be the issue that he had with Russell, was that Russell, he wanted to throw a lot at Russell. Russell just wanted to play a certain way.
but also,
So,
I
I don't
don't
know.
want us to get too distracted with the beginning of the season.
Huh?
I don't want us to get too distracted with the beginning of the season.
Sure, that's a long time ago. I agree.
That's a long time ago.
I got
And
some interesting
they're totally a different team.
Hmm.
Totally different team.
in Marvin Mims. We got to talk about him. So that's one of the receivers I think you alluded to, right? I don't have the stat in front of me, but he led the league in like basically yards after the catch,
Hmm.
or total yards,
Hmm.
like longest like plays. Basically, they drafted this man to be their answer to Tyreek Hill, or their Tyreek Hill within the division, and he's finally showing up as that factor. And I think that does a lot when it comes to spreading defenses.
I like Sutton, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's basically a friendlier George Pickens.
Yeah. And we wanted him too. He likes to block and he can get downfield and he's big.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so George, what do you think? What do you think about that game? When did they play Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday noon.
They had
Sunday.
the
Sunday.
Sunday. They had the first game Sunday. Yeah.
First game Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be watching.
It
What are you thinking?
it's it's hard. It really is hard for me to call. But I don't think it's gonna be a slower moving game. I don't think Josh Allen is gonna struggle to put up points, but it's not gonna be a shootout. So maybe the Bills are scoring in the 20s, 30s if things get interesting in the fourth quarter. But as far as Denver's offense, I can't call it. I don't want to be starry eyed and expect that they're gonna all of a sudden have a run game. A lot of the screen stuff. To me, if I'm Bills, I'm watching tape and I'm watching what they did to the Chiefs. I'm watching what they've been doing the last few weeks with the wide receiver screens and blocking, getting a lineman out there to block for Mims so he can go the distance. We're watching that stuff, and we're trying to set up the offense so that we can make a play behind the line of scrimmage.
Well,
Because that's how the Broncos have been supplementing their run game, with passes behind the line of scrimmage.
can I throw this in there? This is what I think on the matter. I don't think that they should try to do anything different offensively. I think they're already going to be in a different environment on the road. Nick's first time as a quarterback in the playoffs. on the road against a really good team, right? So he's going to have that to deal with. But they've been playing really good defensively. That's where they've been making their bones at. Is that they're defensive teams? They're defensive. They're a defensive team. Yeah, Peyton was known. Yeah, of course, but he's a defensive-minded coach. Don't let him fool you. He gets it. You
He's
know
a
what I'm
big
saying?
picture coach.
Huh?
He's a big picture coach.
Yes, he gets it, and he knows that he's going to have his defense. I don't know what's the guy's name, the brother up there in Denver. He was a
Vance
head coach for
Joseph.
a
Vance
brief
Joseph.
moment.
Vance
What's
Joseph.
his name? What's his name?
Vance Joseph.
Van Joseph. Okay,
Yeah.
he's doing a good job, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, him and Peyton got it going. They got it clicking. So I think that if they're going to stay in that game up there this weekend, Sunday, I think, and it being an early start, that's another thing too. Travel 2 hours. What is it? They're Mountain Time, right?
Well, it's New York. It's Eastern. It should be
No,
Eastern
I'm talking
time,
about
right?
Denver.
Denver is Mountain Time. Yeah.
Yeah. So they got to come back east, right? That's a little different. I mean, we don't think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Athletes think about stuff like that.
Especially with a young team, I could see it impacting it even more. I mean,
Correct.
a team like, and I'm going to use the Chiefs as an example because they're more veteran. I wouldn't worry about that at all. They could play on the freaking moon and they
It
wouldn't
don't
care
matter.
because they've played anytime, anywhere. But
Let's
yeah,
just talk
for a
about
younger,
December 25th. Let's just talk about December 25th.
yeah,
I'm still hurt over that one. But anyway,
I was surprised, man, with Chris Jones out. I was like, man, it's going to be a long day, and they just flat got after him. I
we
mean,
just didn't do well. We didn't play well.
yeah, and Pittsburgh played bad. I mean,
We didn't play well. Okay, so I think that Denver. I like to see Denver play well, George. I really would. I just think they're going to have a hard time, and if their defense gives up some touchdowns to Josh, and they get and the Buffalo gets that offense going, it's going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough, and I don't care how good the defense is and how many sacks, because he plays off of that anyway. Because
Well,
he'll take off on you.
he
He's
doesn't get
big.
sacked. The man's only been sacked 14 times in 17 games.
Yeah, he's
So
not worried about
that's
that.
also noteworthy. Yeah.
yeah, agreed.
Come on, guys.
So,
Come on,
Agreed.
guys.
yeah,
Let's be real. When's the last time that the Bills lost at home? Not including
I don't know.
postseason. Do anybody know? They lost at home
Mm-mm.
against
Well, this
Denver Broncos.
is postseason, so
the Broncos.
I mean, you
Did you
can,
say the
you
Broncos?
can, but the point I'm
The
making here
Bills.
is the last
I
time
get the
them
point you're
boys
making. I'm
lost,
sorry. Go ahead.
excluding Kansas City, it was Denver Broncos. They went up there last year and got the job done. I mean, granted, there's no Russell this time around, but that defensive pass rush is way better than it was last year. I think if they can scheme and kind of dial up some type of blitzes to make Josh want to run and contain him, I think that'd be good. But the only flip side of that is that Josh Allen, he's great against the blitz. Like, I think he only threw like one interception this whole year
We're gonna
against the
run.
blitz. He's the number one against blitz this season. So I think Denver could have some success early, but overall, I think Sean Durham and them will figure it out, adjust, and figure out a way to win the game. But I do like Denver. It's very scary. If they can get to Allen and disrupt the timing and the whole offensive rhythm, I think they got a shot. But the deciding factor for this game is going to be the Denver's defense against the Buffalo's offense.
Exactly. I believe that. What you think, Heffley?
I kind of agree with a lot of everything you're saying. The one thing I keep coming back to is what I kind of said a minute ago. Rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs, man. I'm not going to bet on them. I think I'm kind of feeling 24-14, 24-17, something like that, where I think it's a good game. I worry that Denver can't score enough. They're going to have to be very opportunistic. They're going to have to make Buffalo kick field goals. They're going to have to take advantage of opportunities. If they get a short field, they need to get 7, not 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take one of those. It's not out of the question at all. I'm higher on Denver now than I've been all year, and that really had nothing to do with last week. I'm just dang impressed with how they've been. I can't see Buffalo losing to Denver at home unless something crazy happens as far as turnovers
That's what
or
I was about to say. Turnovers.
yeah, it's got to be, or somebody gets hurt, or I mean, yeah, Josh Allen goes down. Like, yeah, what are we talking about, man? I mean, but
Yeah.
barring a crazy injury or an act of God like a snowstorm or something, um, I just I can't see the Bills losing that game.
Well, they got Trubisky, so
Like I said, I can't see him losing that game. I watched
Trubisky.
that dude in Chicago for 3 years. He sucks.
yeah, we see them in
Yo,
two in Pittsburgh. But
wait, there is something
but
happening weather-wise. There is something happening this weekend.
always in the Northeast,
A
especially this
little bit
time
of
of year.
snow, yeah. They
Yeah.
said it shouldn't impact the game too much though.
Not like they normally get it up there. They lucky.
Yeah.
As far as turnovers, though, that can happen because I can see Denver's defense being optimistic. With that pressure, and even though I think it's dangerous to make Josh run because he likes to run. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields, but he can run. He's him and Burrows are probably when it comes to running quarterback, he can move, and he's a big guy. You know
I
what I'm
got
saying?
another
So,
stat for you.
huh?
I got another stat for you.
Go
I
ahead.
like stats.
He throw
The
picks.
Bills only committed 8 turnovers the whole season.
There you
Tied
go.
for
They
the
don't turn the
fewest
ball
by
over.
a team
They
since
got to be
the only other
opportunistic.
team is 2019 Saints, and then before that 1933.
Dang.
Wow. Remember that 1933. Remind me about 1933. I got another stat for you. You go, yeah, it's crazy.
1933.
That's when
Gosh.
1999, 33, and 99. But
Simpler times.
but I think we're gonna. I know. You know, George, you're a big Bronco fan, and I do hope the Broncos play well and be nice to see them win because it changes up the playoff seedings and for me, But it's gonna be tough. I got to go Buffalo. I'm gonna say if that defense don't play well, man, I can see him losing by 10 or more up there. If they play well, like Heffley said, 7, 3, 3 field goal touchdown. Late game. What's their field goal kicker like? I can't remember the guy.
I don't know.
Which one?
No,
Buffalo?
no, Denver's.
Gosh dang. I know Buffalo's is Tyler Bass, and Tyler Bass is pretty good. He missed a big kick against the Chiefs last year, but overall he's pretty good.
Oh, that okay, okay. It got blocked, didn't it? It got blocked. Did something?
No, he just
Quad right?
shanked it. I mean, that was just
That
yeah,
was
that
this year,
was
right? That was this year. This
no,
season.
That was
that
last year. That was
last
last
season.
season.
Oh, what about when he missed against Denver? I mean, who was that Denver? He missed against the Chiefs, right?
We yeah.
No,
Will Lutz
we blocked
Will Lutz
Denver's.
got it blocked. It was
That was a
blocked.
block, right?
It was blocked.
Okay. Let's move on, though. So we're just going to go up the ladder. So the next seed is Pittsburgh, 6th seed, and they'll be playing Baltimore. They'll be going down to Baltimore for the third time this year. It's like the third round of a heavyweight fight. And nationally, and believe me, man, I'm a big time, everybody, I'm a big time Steelers fan, but I'm going to be realistic. It's going to be tough for us to go down there and win. Okay. A lot of stuff has to take place. Yeah. Do we have a lot of people back that we didn't have in that second game against Baltimore? Yes. And a lot of people didn't even mention that. Pickens didn't play. Deshaun Elliott didn't play. Dante Jackson didn't play. All starters, man. Defensive backfield. We were down to our third string corners. Okay. So, but nobody mentioned that, and Tomlin's never going to mention stuff like that. He expects to win. You know what I'm saying? And I do too. Expect to win as a fan. But it does change things. But that doesn't make up the fact that they lost them 4 straight games too. So you lost to Philly, you lost to Kansas City, you lost to Baltimore, then you turn around and dropped the one to Cincinnati last week. So you got to be reeling. Yeah, the defense did play better against Cincinnati, But as a fan, I hope they win. As a realistic football person, it's going to be tough for Pittsburgh. It's going to be tough. Russell got to play a lot better than he's been playing. They need to put Justin in. They need to bring those wrinkles back. And like they said, he hasn't been playing because he had some strained abs, and so he hasn't been playing. Al Anderson's been the backup. A lot of people didn't even realize that Justin ain't even been dressing. You know what I'm saying? So that's a wrinkle, and I'm pretty sure he would have played in some of those games. Like that one, I was watching the All 22, and I don't know what Russ is thinking right now. Maybe y'all have some insight on it, but he's not playing like a veteran right now. He's playing, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. He looks scared to me. Look like he's afraid of making a mistake. And you've been in the league too long for that, you know. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw picks. And it's ever since he fumbled that ball at the goal line. It's like he's like rattled. You know what I'm saying? He's running into pressure. He's not stepping up, which he's never really done anyway, because he can't really see over the lineman. Um, but he got to understand your left tackles, Big Dan Moore, get him out of here. We need to draft somebody or get somebody. We do got Fournette. He got hurt. He was a first round draft pick. And they'll probably move Broderick Jones to the left side next year and put the other guy at the right, the rookie at the right side. But our offensive line is young, so I get it. I get it. But defensively, played better against the Bengals, slowed Burrows down. But I just think they're going to have a tough time. What's the rest of you think?
Pickens got to step up. He can't play like he's been playing. That Cincinnati game was he wasn't making the plays that have been making a difference. They expect him to win 50-50 balls. They expect him to be more physical. And I know you can't count on that every time, but in the game, that's been the game plan. Like that's been what's got him out of some tough situations or put them in good position. He's got to step up. He's got to step up. He's got to get out of his head.
So yeah, I kind of think it's what Russell are you going to get? If you get the Russ from the first 12, 13, 14 weeks, I think they can absolutely roll in with no Zay Flowers. I mean, that's a big deal. If they can make Baltimore be a little bit more one dimensional, make them throw the ball a lot more, which I think their defense is good. They're capable of doing that. And I know Lamar's been a better passer this year, but I still think that's his weakness. I mean, I think you let them have a two-way go, run pass, they're a lot tougher team to stop than if you make them more one-dimensional. But to me, it's all going to come down to Russell. I mean, if you get the Russell from the last 4 weeks, you're going to get beat by 20 points, just because your defense can't hold out. I mean, he's looked wretched the last 3 games,
That's
and
what I'm
he's
saying.
he's way better
I thought
than
it was
that. And
just
I
me.
think I think some of it's been they've been behind, and I don't know if he's not a come from behind type of guy. I think he's
Front runner.
more of a play action, run first, take your shots when you get them. If they know you're going to throw, I don't think that's really his thing. I don't think he's got that in his tool bag anymore. But if you let him, work some play action, if you can get, your two running backs going a little bit and churn some yards. And I mean, you got to turn the game into a rock fight's what you got to turn it into, and you got to hope you make a few more plays than they do. Which, I mean, that's I know Baltimore is probably like, oh, this is an easy game, but true Baltimore people would say this is not who you wanted to match up with. They'd rather play the Chargers, the Broncos, or the Texans over the Steelers.
Oh yeah, the players are saying that too. The players don't want to play Pittsburgh
No,
because it's one of
no.
those games where you're gonna come out banged up. Then you got to play the following week.
Well, it's kind of like why as a Chiefs fan, I don't really want to see the Broncos or the Chargers next round because the familiarity's there, and
Yes,
it's not quite the same as Steelers Ravens.
but
But
it's there.
I do think both of those have the potential to kind of go that route with how those two teams are kind of are kind of going right now. So
But also too, I think too, and I failed to mention this at the beginning because I was on my tangent about just the way they've been playing. When they first hired Arthur Smith, um, in his resume, because I didn't know who he was. Then of course, I researched him. Okay, he was the OC at Tennessee. Did a good job with who was the quarterback back then?
Tannehill.
Tannehill and King Henry. Actually, they were a two-person offense. They had they had Brown though. They had the receiver.
AJ Brown too. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
they had him, but they barely threw to him. He blocked a lot. That's why he wanted out of there,
Yeah.
right? The same stuff he's asking the receivers to do in Pittsburgh. They're extra fullbacks and guards. Basically, that's what they are when they're not getting passes. They have actually blocking missions to, and you know how receivers are. Some of the receivers don't want to do that, man. They're not physical at all, you know. So I think he needs another year or so. But also too, man, come on. Can you please quit running the ball every time on first down, every game? You're so predictable. It's like I mean, I forget who it was. I'd have to go back and look at my podcast to remember what the game was. Look at my notes. They ran the same play 3 times in the first half. Twice to the left side, once to the right side. Didn't change the formation once. Ran the same exact. This is the NFL, man. It only takes defenses maybe once, maybe twice. That's it. And they know what's coming. Right? And he's just runs and I don't know if it's him or Tomlin, but I'm starting to think it's Tomlin because every OC coaches that way with them. Everybody runs the ball, and it's like they want to run. And I'm thinking he didn't do that in Tennessee. He did put the ball up some. You know what I'm saying?
I saw somebody give a hypothesis, and you're a big Steelers fan, so I'll run it by you. He said he thinks Arthur Smith, if you got him some truth serum, would choose Justin Fields over Russell Wilson.
I believe that.
Okay.
I believe that. I think he was force fed Russell.
And he's done a heck of a job. Like Russell, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like he's had a really good season, but I mean, Father Time, undefeated, man, and it's starting to show up a little bit now. And Justin Fields isn't as good as a quarterback, but he's probably more explosive.
I don't sign. Unless Russell takes a minimal deal and understands that the job is open.
Let me just stop you there. He ain't doing that.
He's paid for it. We already paid for it.
He
got another year.
We got to go.
Paid for it. Pay him his
minimum. And after watching this, we can't do it. We can't do it.
I would run back the same contract if you can get it. Anything more than that, anything in the $20 million range or higher, no.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you later. Hey, and tell Justin, get ready.
It's been real, but we won 10 games with Kenny freaking Pickett. We'll be fine, bro. That's what they're going to say.
Yep. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless somebody offers Justin a bunch of money. Because they're both free agents.
That ain't happening either.
I don't think it is.
I think Justin Fields, 1 year, 8 to 10 million, which is cheap for a quarterback. I could see that, but man, like no GM or coach is signing up for him to be your quarterback because you're going to get fired because he's going to come in and if he's a disaster, I mean, then what? Like the NFL, you don't get 2, 3, 4 years. You get a year if it's a disaster, and they're going to move on from you. So
unless you're Tomlin or Reed or somebody.
Oh, right. Unless you're 6 or 8 different guys, everybody else is on a year-by-year thing, and I generally think that that's how it goes.
It's true. So I'm gonna give you a real prediction, man. It's like when I was a little kid, hoping see Santa coming down the Christmas chimney. Coming down the chimney. I hope. But realistically, as I became an adult, I knew my grandmother and them was buying my gifts. So I got to be realistic. I think Pittsburgh loses this one. We go home and revamp. Baltimore moves on. I hope I'm wrong. And, and I'll admit it if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Yeah, that's hard to hear.
Huh?
That's hard to hear.
Hey.
It's realistic, though.
It's realistic.
And I'll say Ravens 23, Steelers 14, something like that. I think the Steelers will cover because the line's like 10. And I think 10's too high
for them.
I could see it also being I don't know, 21-14, 21-17, something like that. Again, I think it's going to be a rock fight. I don't think they're going to roll over.
Unless Tomlin gets his way like I know he wants to do, get down there and muck it up,
Yeah,
purposely muck
yeah,
it up, slow the game down, and do one of those 18-16s again, or
yeah.
you know, and get out of there with a Boswell kick. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's the recipe. Yeah,
No, seriously. I mean,
no, it is. That's the recipe. You're not beating them. You're not beating them 38-35. So
no, we'll lose that
Well,
game.
well,
yeah, you will.
well. Pittsburgh, they can win. They'll just have to.
Well, Michael Williams and Pickens, but look at Pickens. Do you trust Pickens?
Let's,
And I'm a
You
big
don't
time
got a
Steelers
you don't
fan.
got a choice.
right, and they got to
I had
win
a
on all
choice.
three phases.
We had a choice with Hey, listen, hold on, man. We had a choice with Antonio Brown. Look what we did, and we got
Now,
over it as fans.
Mike Tomlin deserves to have a freaking statue in the freaking Louvre for having Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, Ben Roethlisberger all on the same team and winning without any headaches. Like,
Oh, he had it.
mad respect, because those three guys, and I throw Ben in there. He wasn't really an issue right at the end, but those other two divas, my goodness, man, all the respect for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So uh, I don't know. What you
I'm
think, George? What you think?
I'm worried. Well, I do think it's this. I don't think the Steelers are going to be able to compete. Honestly, I think they're struggling. I'm starting to think Russ might be, playing all those games we talked about age. I think that he's hurting because he also plays different. After seeing him play last 2 years, he plays different when
He
he's
plays
banged
different
up.
from the beginning of this year to now.
Yeah, he's banged up. Like unless the ice bath did him well over the past week, he's gonna go out there. He's gonna be second guessing, and it's gonna look bad after he gets hit a couple times. I really wish Justin Fields was playing. I know that's not gonna be the case because it opens up the read option, and that's something of a wrinkle that they can
But
play
I
with.
watched it, and I know everybody everybody doesn't watch this, but it's called the All 22, and you get to see the actual like footage,
It's
not the game,
awesome.
but yes, yeah,
All 22 is awesome.
it's
It's so
awesome.
good.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
make
like
you
the
not want to
coaches
watch the
game.
game. You rather watch
It's
that. Just
I
wait till
I I coach safeties now, and I get really,
Dude,
I know, it freaking drives me crazy. But anyways, dude, I've coached D line, outside backers, and safeties now. So yeah, I'm just running the gauntlet here. But all 22 film, watching what pros do with coverage is it's incredible. All the different like, I don't know how guys are good at quarterback in the NFL sometimes, watching all the different stuff that they do, to hide things and manipulate things. And dude, it's wild. It's crazy.
and I brought it up because of they showed a couple plays of the offensive line blocking, and they ran one play, a read option play, where Russell handed it off. This was against the Bengals. Russell handed it off against to Warren
Hmm.
too quick.
Hmm.
The end had committed inside,
Yeah,
and Russell had already gave the ball up.
refs don't
yeah.
want that.
And but
Well, sometimes those teams will run read option. It looks like read option, but there's no read. Like, they're handing it off and maybe calling quarterback pull later. But yeah, that mesh point, you got to stay in the mesh point
yeah,
for at least a half a count or so.
and he was wide open. That linebacker would have never recovered. He would at least got the first down.
When I see, like, and the reason I bring that up, because when I see Mahomes go read option in the mesh point, I'm like, no, hand the damn thing off. No, we're not
He keeps
running.
it.
Ooh,
He keeps it.
I do not want an outside backer or safety with a free shot on you, man. Like, no.
And I think that's what's in Russell's heads too. I think that's in his
Yeah,
head.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I think it's in his head because our offensive line is not playing well. Number 65, his name is Dan Moore. Drafted him 3 years ago, fourth round out of Texas A&M, fifth round out of Texas A&M, and he's been starting ever since. He's gotten better. For some reason, matter of fact, the last 4 games that we've been losing, he's been garbage. I mean, complete garbage. It's like, dude, and you playing for a contract. It's crazy. I think he just figures I'm a left tackle. I'm gonna get my money, so it don't matter to him. He'll just go someplace else and play. But I just think Reed got to be patient. I mean, not, but Russell got to be patient and just calm down and just and just hope somebody told something that said something to Arthur Smith or Tom. So, come on, man, quit running the ball every first. Now that's too predictable, man. That's too crazy. I mean, first down, you can't even do that in high school. You can't even do that in high school. You can't just come out. Every team's going to know that's what you do. All UA or whoever likes to run the ball, first down every time they run the ball. You know, can't keep doing that. So I don't think they'll win. Who's next?
You can go AFC, finish up AFC, and go Chargers Texans.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good game. I
That's
agree.
like a fifth. Yeah, that's a five. What's that? 4 or 5 matchup. That's a 4 or 5.
I actually think the two games we started with were the biggest point spreads. I think the rest of the games are all much closer
Yeah,
as far as
yeah, yeah,
Vegas
yeah.
goes. So
Yeah, I do believe that. Show me a second. Is he back in the chat? We lost him, y'all.
Is Tank Dell playing?
Who?
no,
No.
Tank Dell might not play ever
No.
again.
Yeah, never again.
Yeah, like he tore everything, dislocated stuff. I
Did
mean,
you see that play, George?
You said what?
Did you see that play?
No, I saw that one last year against the Broncos. I didn't see this year's.
yeah, no, he got hurt against the Chiefs, and it was pretty gnarly. Like you could tell by the guys' reactions. Even the Chiefs players were like, oh, "Man, like that ain't good." So
And he
I'll
caught the
be
touchdown. And he
yeah, and
caught
he
the
caught it.
touchdown.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be stunned if Tank Dell plays next year.
Man, that's his second one in 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Back.
yeah. So
So I don't know. But they look well, I didn't see him play the other day, but they said they look better. Whoever they finished up with. I don't know who they finished their last game with.
The
They
Titans.
beat them by double. They beat them by more than what
Oh, I read that wrong.
touchdowns.
Colts.
are you talking the Texans or the Chargers?
Texans.
Texans, yeah. Well, they sat a bunch of guys too, so it's
Whoever. Okay.
like their quarterback only played like a drive, their running back only played a drive. Like it's kind of like they treated it like a first preseason game. So
So now, and I'm not trying to, whoever wants to lead on this, I don't have the Chargers. I will say this, and I'll let y'all go at it. The Chargers, I think Jim Harbaugh, I think he is too experienced. He's not worried about the road. I don't think his quarterback's worried about the road. They're playing in the dome, so weather's not going to affect them. It's going to get loud, but I think it doesn't get loud in LA. I know because they're having a problem with the fan base. Y'all don't like football in California, huh?
And now we don't respect the Chargers. Just like we don't respect the Clippers. Let's be honest. That's what it is.
I don't think he's going to have a problem down there in Houston. I don't think they fear Houston.
no, they don't, and they shouldn't. I think the Chargers are better. I think they got, and I like Stroud, but kind of when I was looking at this game earlier, I'm like, Texans found out last year they snuck up on people. This year they found out what it was like to be hunted a little bit, where people had them circled, and it's a big difference. You're
Yeah.
playing like you're instead of getting teams B game, you're getting everybody's A game because you made the playoffs. You're the hot name. I mean, all offseason it was a lot of love for the Texans, and I still think they're good. I think Nico Collins is really good, and I think Stroud has had some moments. I don't think he's quite as impactful this year, but I like the Chargers in this. I think Herbert's good. I think Herbert's severely underrated, and I think
Mhm.
he's with a good coach now. Kind of like I feel a little bit about Peyton and Nix. Is it's a good mix of those two, and I could see those two win a lot of football games the next 5 6 years, just because it's a good quality quarterback with a well seasoned, experienced coach who's his guys are going to show up to play each week. I mean, you're going to get a good game from the Chargers, I think.
The AFC West just got better.
The
And when you
AFC
look at
West
the
is
Chargers,
it went from the outhouse to the penthouse quickly,
the Chargers aren't the Chargers anymore. I mean, one of their defining traits in the past has been losing games that they had no business losing.
wetting their pants. Yes.
And that has not happened under Harbaugh. And so that's terrifying because you like legit when they should be winning games, they're winning, like they're finishing them out.
Hmm.
So yeah, the Texans are gonna have a rough going. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. But yeah, I got the Chargers. I got the Chargers. I hate to say it because if we do make it past the Bills, I mean, a Harbaugh, like I said last time, a Harbaugh coach team. I think that's Sean Payton's weakness.
Yeah, yeah.
Both those
No,
brothers are coaching their asses off.
I think they're both. I think they're both excellent. Truthfully, I again, if we're ranking top NFL coaches, I got both Harbaughs in the top 6 or 7. I don't know. I mean, I just off the top of my head, they're definitely way up there. And yeah, I don't. I could see the Texans winning. I could see them getting some momentum, being a home crowd and stuff. But I don't know. I think they played the game 100 times. I think the Chargers win 65 or 70 of them. Like I think they're just better. I think Herbert's better than Stroud is right now,
Yeah, and they got a run game now.
and
That
they
was
do. And
that was
no,
the
they
missing
do.
piece.
They do. I who'd have think letting Eckler go and they actually improved in that area. That's kind of weird because I liked Eckler. I think he's good.
Mm.
So
I
I
had
if I was
mixed
putting a score, I'll say Chargers 27, Texans 17. So
27-17, 10-point game.
yep, yeah.
I think Texans wet the bed. I
What's
think
the
it's
spread?
It's
23.
it was 2.5 this morning,
Mm.
and it's only 42.5 for over under. So they're expecting a pretty low scoring game too. I mean, that would suggest like a 24 to 17, 24 to 18 game, something like that.
Okay. So, George, did you give your prediction?
I'm going correct. 23. Chargers 20. Texans 3.
20 to 3. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it's
Texans are
unanimous.
gonna
I
wet
think
the
there's,
bed.
what, you said 22-3,
Yeah.
and I think it's going to be unanimous. I think the Chargers will win too. I think it'll be hardball, pun intended. I think it'll be something like 21-13, somewhere in there. I think it'll be low scoring. I don't think it'll be an outburst unless their Chargers quarterback, just goes completely off. You know what I'm saying? But he's been playing within himself. But I think they'll beat Houston too. Yeah, that's unanimous. All right. Troy left us. It's just us three. So we're going to go ahead and uh, make sure. All right. So we got the NFC going now. We'll get through this. The NFC, Detroit, number one. Man, the last 2 years, that guy's been coaching his behind off. He's
Agreed.
he's done a really good job with them. I
Hmm.
would have never, if you would have told me that 4 years ago that Detroit would be the best team in the NFC or one of the best teams in the NFC, I would have, again, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? But they're playing well, but they're on a bye. So the bottom team, who's the seventh seed?
You've got the Packers and the Eagles.
Packers and the Eagles.
That's a tough 7 seed.
Yes, it
It is.
is. And
Yeah.
Hurt is playing, right?
Hurt and Love are both limited in practice, but I can't see a world where they both don't
Mm.
play.
Okay.
I do know the Packers are without Watson, their number 2 receiver. He tore
Yeah,
his ACL
I
because
see that.
for some reason they decided to play their dudes to try to improve one spot. It made no sense. Like I I don't know. I listen all week to these guys. Well, why can't these guys play their guys? And it's like, why can't you win more games earlier? Like that's where I'm at. Like, you know what, Bengals don't start off 1-4, and then you can't piss and moan about the Chiefs sitting their guys. Like, win more games, man. Um, but the Packers just played their guys anyways, and got one of them hurt. I don't know. Jordan Love's not a rookie, but he's still pretty green. He's won a playoff game at least. I don't know. Eagles are good. I think the Eagles are a pretty good team, and they got a week of rest too. And I can't see the. I guess I can't see the Packers going in there and beating them in Philadelphia. But I think the Packers can score. So if they can score enough points and make Jalen Hurts throw the ball a lot, I think they do. I think they can win. That's their recipe to win. But it's easier said than done for sure.
Those running backs are gonna be fun to watch. This is their time. I mean, I think any coach, if they have it their way, their running back shines in the playoffs
Yeah, agreed.
primarily. It's competitive. I mean, you put me opposite one of the other best running backs in the league, I'm gonna put on a show. So we'll see what defense has to say about it. I don't know anything. I actually don't know anything about these two teams' defenses.
Philly's defense is really good. That front, that defensive backfield is good, and that front is good. Um, that front seven, they don't give up much, man. Now they had some weird games this year where, like when they Carolina struggled against Carolina, then they turned around and blew Pittsburgh out. Go figure. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think Philadelphia is well coached. I
you think
don't
that's
think
what it is?
highly. I don't like Sirianni. I'm not a fan. I think he's frankly a clown. I think he's a sideshow. I think he likes attention. I think he just does stupid things for some reason. I don't know why. Like, stop drawing attention to yourself. Like, you know who you don't hear from? Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid. They don't give bulletin board material. They don't say dumb things. And that dude, every other week, has got some kind of damn running with somebody. And it's just like, bro, you got a good team. Just coach your team.
Isn't he the one that had the problem with the fans?
Yes. Yes. This he was. I've seen multiple instances him shouting with fans and arguing with them, and it's like, dude, you make $8 million a year. Like, coach your team, go win more games. Like, you were just in the Super Bowl recently. Like, why are you arguing with some dude who, paid $150 to be there? Like, stop.
So do you think Green Bay? Do you think Love can handle the pressure in Philly?
No, I'll take Eagles for sure, but I don't think I think the Eagles are better than the Lions with the right coach. Like, I think
You think the Lions
their
beat them?
piece. I think they can. I'm not ready to make that prediction just yet, but I think they can. Yeah, the Eagles are just, man, they're tough. They're a tough team. I mean, they've got two dudes at receiver. They've got
Yeah.
probably the best running back, him or Henry, best running back. They got a quarterback who runs their stuff really well, and he throws it well enough. Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles are good, and they got a good defense. I mean, their
Yeah.
defense is been good, and I think the Eagles can go far if their coach stays out of the way.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, like, I could see the Packers winning and the coach getting fired too. Like, I think it's that vast of a difference or vast of outcomes.
You see a
So,
Packers coach?
no, I'm talking to the Eagles coach. Like,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
could see them. I could see them being like, you know what, the hell with this guy. Like, we're
Yeah.
not going to
Larry's
do
like
this.
that though. Larry, remember he got rid of Andy Reid.
Which that was. Thank you. Appreciate you.
And then he got rid of. Well, I mean, looks like he did it. He did it right. But see, my man, it was just coaching Jaguars. He just got fired.
No, Doug Peterson. Yeah,
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl.
yeah. The I was telling my son who's 17 and only been a football fan since the Chiefs have been good. That Sunday game versus the Broncos reminds me of some of those teams from the 2000s and early 2010s of the Chiefs where they just bad and they just bad, poor coach, no talent. And I mean, I said that's what it was like until Andy Reid got here. So yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
yeah, it was. I remember going and losing to Denver 35-3 or something, the last game of the season, and I think it made us get the first round pick. And man, that was just wretched that year, just awful. And it was all coaching, man.
I remember when I first moved down here, y'all had this defensive end. He was really good, but he ended up going to Minnesota.
But Jared Allen, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Jared Allen was good. I was sorry to see him go.
wanted that money, huh?
Yeah. Prediction wise, um, I'll say 28-20. I'll take the Eagles to cover, to win and cover. So
Go ahead, George. I'm gonna give you one.
I don't know. I know that I think that I have the Eagles winning. I think Jordan Love is going to turn the ball over. Something tells me he's gonna crack. But I got the Eagles. I'll say 2017.
2017. Okay. Uh, I'm gonna spice things up, man. I think a lot of what Mariah is saying about the atmosphere down there. I remember a couple weeks ago, it don't seem like it really bothered them, but they had something to prove that day. But they had been bickering and arguing. When it leaves the locker room and gets to the media, that means somebody's talking,
Hmm.
either a player or a coach. Usually, it's probably an assistant, somebody like that. And whoever they're talking to is promised not to, put their name out there. So there's probably truth to it, you know, and that stuff just doesn't go away. And look what happened to Philly last year. It's starting to make me think that's what the same thing was last year because they were like kind of like Pittsburgh last year. Won all those games. Everybody's like, "Oh, Philly, Philly, Philly," and then boom.
Hmm.
Did they lose in the first round?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
They lost. Remember, they were leading the football by a couple games, and then lost down the stretch, and then lost their opening playoff game, and they were out.
Wow. So,
You're making me not feel good about my pick, by the way, already.
so I'm gonna pick Green Bay.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad pick.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a close game. Green Bay will not. I'll be shocked if Green Bay goes to Philly and beats them by more than 7. It's going to be close. When I say close, field goal, somewhere in there. It'll come down to a situation where Philly hurts. They're saying something about that. What is that play they like to use within in the red zone? The push tush,
Oh, the tush push.
the tush push. Some injury that he has. He's banged up. He can't take it.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know how that got
I,
out. I don't know how that got out.
he's got a concussion.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they're
Yeah,
saying
I
you
could
just
see.
don't. They're like they don't want to because he's being pushed. You just can't
Yeah,
pull, but you can push.
yeah. I don't.
That's a
I could
lot of
see
weight.
that being an issue. Yeah, 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 for
Just
sure.
think, at my biggest weight, Heffley, and your biggest weight, back in the day when we had some leg strength and we were asked to push, we'd be able to push Hurts through the pile.
Yeah, yeah. Long ago.
Yeah, but it's going to take some force, and he's going to get banged up doing it.
Yeah,
So I can see why they're saying that. But it's the playoffs. But if something happens, he's gone for the next game.
yeah. No, you're right. Well, he gets another concussion. He's probably out for the year. I mean, you have 2 concussions in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, and granted, two is a little different story, but he was out 6 weeks or so with that, and that was 2 concussions in 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, I
So
like to see Pickett playing.
he's trash. He's so bad.
But yeah, but no, I'm picking Green Bay. I'm picking Green Bay.
Nice, nice.
So we got Bucks Commanders next.
Yep.
That's a
Baker
good one.
Mayfield. Baker Mayfield
I
had a sneaky season.
Yes, he did, and he is Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield. You like stats, coach, so I got you here.
All
Baker
right.
Mayfield in 4 playoff games is averaging 290 yards passing. He's thrown 10 touchdowns and 3 picks.
Yes.
Wow.
That's in playoffs, not like I mean, those are games when you're seeing the best. And I'll admit, like I thought Baker was washed, and he's not.
He's
He's
not
been
washed.
good. He's been solid.
Cleveland was washed. He wasn't washed.
Cleveland's never been unwashed, I guess. I mean, like yeah, they suck. Although Miles Garrett looked real good in Chiefs red, but
They're probably gonna release him.
they can't afford him, so they can't. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm really impressed with Baker, and I'll kind of go back to what I was saying earlier. Rookie quarterback on the road. I know the Commanders had a good season. I know Jaden Daniels has been good, but there's something about going to the playoffs and playing that first big game like that. Rookie quarterbacks just don't win on the road. They don't win in the playoffs hardly at all. I mean, last rookie quarterback to have a lot of success, I think I got to think back to like '05 with Ben. I mean, that's the last time I can remember a rookie taking a team on a run like that. And
He had a veteran. He had a veteran offensive line. He had a running back named Jerome Bettis.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
good defense. He didn't have to do much. I mean, but
Hey,
hand it off and just and throw when they gave him safe throws.
Jerome Bettis was my Jerome Bettis fact is he's a 200 average bowler.
Oh, yeah, he's a good bowler.
He liked to bowl. I met him at a bowling convention one time. Really nice dude. I'm a big fan of Jerome Bettis
Yeah, he's a
because
bowler.
I was I don't know, I was probably 8 or 9, 10 years old, and he took a couple minutes to talk to me, and he didn't have to do that. And like I always appreciate that when you know guys of that he didn't have to talk to me. I'm some punk kid, and
Yeah.
yeah, he talked to me about bowling for like 2 minutes and
Oh,
stuff.
for real?
So
Yeah, he
yeah,
likes to
yeah, it was
bowl.
really cool, man.
It's big. They talk about that a lot. He's an avid bowler. He is.
Yeah,
He grew up bowling. You know,
yeah, yeah.
he used to take him bowling all the time. He got really good at it. Um, and the reason I know a little bit about him, like in work, is Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch is from Pittsburgh,
Hmm.
and Charlie Batch's mom is married to a friend of mine that I used to be a police officer with, and he's he's married to Charlie Batch's mother. So they used to, like, they had functions and stuff like that. We bump into them. We didn't act like fan guys though. We act normal, but it was
Hmm.
cool. They was
Yeah.
down to earth. You know what I'm saying? Really down to earth. They just wanted to eat some barbecue and talk some stuff. That's all. You know. But back to this. So who's next? The Commanders and who?
It was a Bucks.
And the Bucks. Tampa Bay. Yeah, my man is. He's playing pretty well, but he does have to come to. Washington has to come down. They have to go down there, right, to Tampa. Tampa's the one that they won the division. I just can't see. It's going to be tough for that rookie. He's a rookie. Okay. Now they do have a good team, and they're not a bad team. They're well coached. I like that guy. He's a good coach. Their offensive coordinator, he's good. I mean, he didn't work out as a head coach in Arizona, but he's doing well as an assistant OC. He's doing good as an OC. He's down up the right plays. He got that guy playing. He's using them right. I don't think they can beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Tampa Bay's just better at home, and that's why they'll win the game. And I think it'll be a 8 point game, something like that. As far as score goes, I say 20, 24, 16, somewhere in there. What you got?
Jefferson's conflicted right now. I can see it in his eyes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Let me share just a
He
couple
gave
more
you
little
some good
things real
stat. He
quick.
gave you all the Baker has been
Well,
playing well. They was talking about that this morning. Baker's been lighting it up.
I got another little bit here. So the Bucks first 6 weeks of the season had wins over the Lions, the Commanders, and the Eagles, and they've beaten one playoff team since then, and lost some bad games since then too. I think Chris Godwin injury was huge for them. Now I think they've kind of steadied the ship. I think Jalen McMillan's been really good
Yeah,
to go along with Mike Evans. He's kind of picked up the load, and I think Bucky Irving and then Rashad White, center zone Rashad White. That was awesome playing against him on the other sideline when he was at center and we were at UA. But anyways, I think I still like the Bucks despite that they haven't been great lately. I think again, rookie quarterback. I think the lights will get bright. I'm gonna say 21-10 or something. Like I think Washington will struggle to move the ball. I think they'll make a lot of turnovers. And the just to tell you, the over under on it's 50. So they're expecting a 28-24 game or something like that.
he wants some points because of
When that's why I'm saying 21-10 is a little bit of an outlier. Just I think Jaden Daniels is going to struggle.
yeah. I think he is too. I think he's going to struggle down there in Tampa Bay, and I think then he just never knows what Bowles is going to throw at him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't
Hmm.
know. He's a defensive minded coach. The guy knows how to stop quarterbacks, so or at least slow you down. Um, so something to watch. You still thinking, George?
I am. I I am. I'm gonna say 24, Commanders 21.
So you got Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
That's
I think
unanimous. That's a
yeah.
I think
unanimous vote.
so.
That's unanimous home victory. Okay. So yeah. Um, who plays Monday night? Minnesota, right?
Vikings and Rams.
And that's next anyway, right?
Yeah, that's our last one.
That's our last one. Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So they already played once this year, earlier in the season. The Rams, I don't know. I feel like the Rams fought the injury bug a lot. I think the Rams are good. I think the Rams are much better than their record.
Yeah, me too.
Their offense is dynamic. I mean, they've got two dudes who can really go and catch the ball. They've got a good running attack. I love it's the old Mike Shanahan scheme is what it is, and they run it really well. I think their play caller, head coach does some really unique, interesting things to get guys open in space and makes you really defend every blade of grass. I mean, talked about it with Denver with their screen game. I think the Rams have a masters in the screen game. Like
Mhm.
they are excellent at it. And I think they're healthy. They sat everybody last week like the Packers should have and lost a seed, I believe, but they just like we don't care. We'd rather get healthy. And I I'm not a Sam Darnold. I'm not sold on him. I
Mhm.
think the Vikings have had a really good season. I think their head coach is really good and done the best he could with kind of what he has. He's made Sam Darnold a lot of money this season because Sam Darnold's going to get paid. I'm afraid whoever pays him is going to have buyer's remorse because I just don't think he's great. I mean, Sam Darnold to me is a younger Russell Wilson, a younger like game manager, like who can just kind of keep you from getting beat, but he's not going to win. I'm gonna. I'm going Rams. I'm hammering Rams in this
Yeah, he needs it. Donald needs. Well, if you think about it, just look at the game Sunday night, or was that Monday night when they played Detroit?
Sunday night. Yeah, he looked terrible in that game.
And then Detroit's defense had a lot to do with that. But
Yeah,
he,
yeah,
but he didn't play well, and that to me that was the real Darnold right there.
yeah. I agree. Well, and that's the kind of defenses you'll see in the playoffs too.
Hmm. Correct.
You don't get the Falcons defense or the Carolina defense, or you don't get crappy teams. Everybody's got a good defense going forward. Everybody.
Hmm. They know how to stop
So
you.
they do. Yeah, yeah,
They know how to make it miserable for you. You know, cause you to throw some interceptions, and I think he's capable of that. He's capable of giving it up. I haven't got to watch him play a lot this year, but I've been paying attention to Minnesota because I'm like, wow, they playing pretty well.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wanted to see that Detroit game. Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to beat the Rams out there. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. You said Shanahan, so you talking about he runs a lot of the dad stuff, right?
He does. He was McVay was the Packers head coach, and Kyle Shanahan obviously all come from the Mike Shanahan tree of they run a lot of outside zone, that stretch play that Denver. Now, what these teams have done with it now is they've made it more out of the shotgun, more out of the pistol. They've taken it and they basically put it on steroids and put a lot of different variations and window dressing and stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember, you guys might remember this, coach, because you're older, and then a coach, because you Broncos fan. I don't ever remember the Broncos having a very dynamic screen game under Mike Shanahan. That was never a thing.
A lot of
But
stretch.
yeah, but stretch and boot, that was the plays that just destroy the Chiefs with. But I see that a lot with, again, with the Rams, like what they do with Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup as far as get him the ball now out in
Right.
space. And it's what they're basically running is they're basically running outside zone or wide zone with without handing the ball off. They're just throwing it to the guy real quick.
Yeah, that's the new handoff now.
Yeah, and I think it's excellent because you know what? It sucks to stop. You make teams get really disciplined in order to stop that. And so, yeah, I'm a huge fan of McVay and that whole tree because they can coach some ball. And I mean, all those guys have had success, and I don't think it's an accident for sure.
Well, the reason I brought him up is because, and not, I know we're doing a preview, but I'm looking at his style of coaching and what he does out there with the Rams, and he's actually, to me, this is my opinion. You know, I think that the son Shanahan, Kyle, has more pieces,
I agree.
but my man over here at the Rams don't have as many pieces and does just as well. You
I
see what I'm
agree.
saying?
I agree. I think the Rams have a much better quarterback, and I think that matters a lot, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not a Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is. I think you could find Brock Purdy almost every single year in the draft. Like he's just a guy.
I still don't know how to. I mean, what George Heffley, I'm a scout. You the GM, you the head coach. And I come to you back to you about a Purdy guy. And I'm talking to you about this Purdy kid that I seen and never heard of him. And we got him on the board maybe as an undrafted free agent or the seventh pick, last pick overall. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what he went.
Yep.
How do you know that? You don't know that. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how they figured that one out. But it worked.
Until it didn't. Yeah, it worked until it didn't.
Yeah, until it didn't.
I was going to say, I think you want to look back at why the Chiefs beat them in the Super Bowl. You can look at Brock Purdy and have him wear a lot of that because I don't think he turned the ball over a lot, but he missed a lot of throws that were there. I honestly like a lot of good quarterbacks make those throws, truthfully. Um, yeah, I again, I'm not a Purdy fan. Somebody's going to overpay him and regret it also because I don't think he's not the answer. I don't care what the question is.
It's kind of like how Joe Flacco got exposed when he left the Ravens.
Yeah, very,
He was always a
very much
system
so.
guy.
And Flacco, he
I
had some
never
good years
believed.
with the Ravens, though. He had some good years with the Ravens.
I tell you
He
what,
was
he
a
made a lot
systems
of
guy.
money on that one playoff run, didn't
Yep,
he?
he sure did.
That one, I mean, and I'm not bringing this up to pour salt in the wound because I know as a Chiefs fan, I've had my heart broken plenty of times by Broncos, but that, the throw I'm getting ready to say, that I still, for the life of me, cannot understand why a safety and
Often
corner, like, back up, bro. Like, this is the only thing that'll beat you. They're not driving to beat you, and you let them just throw a go ball just over your head. And
that broke my
that
heart.
that one throw made him, I don't know, $50 million or something. I mean, so
And he's still
Well,
playing.
I
if
was
we're gonna talk
I
about
was so
injuries,
happy watching that too. I was so happy.
He's still playing. He's like Vinny Testaverde was. He's still here. He's still
Yeah,
around.
right. You can't kill him.
Jennings, you remember that playoff? You remember that playoff year?
Uh-uh.
You remember it. You
Yeah,
remember
I
it.
remember it.
I
Tim
remember.
Tebow.
Oh,
Yeah,
I remember that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember that. I was sitting there with my mouth wide open, looking like I can't believe I just watched what happened. And he never did it.
man.
Tim Tebow. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
He completed like 6 passes in the game total, and then happens to hit Demarius Thomas, and your DB slips. I'm sorry, I'm just pouring salt in the wound now on both of you.
That's what
D,
happened though, and it was in
hey,
overtime. It
I
was in
got you.
overtime.
D Ford was offsides there.
It was overtime. It was overtime. It was the
Yeah,
first Denver had possession.
it was
First
the
play.
first play. It was the first
First
play of
play.
overtime.
they thought they
First
were running
play.
it, but that's still no excuse to get beat
My,
by it.
this is
Yeah,
crazy. But back to this.
yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah. I'll give my pick. I like the Rams. I like the Rams by. Let me look at the line here. I just had it. So Minnesota is actually the favorite. It's almost a pick 'em though, so it's almost a pick which one you want. I think the Rams win. I think the Rams win. I'll say 28-24.
I think Darnold's going to throw some picks. I think it's going to be bigger. I think it's going to be bigger than that. I think Stafford's going to have a good game, and I think what's the name, Nakua, and the other good wide receiver, the one that won the Triple Crown. Yeah, I think they're going to be hard to deal with. Just the way he coaches, man, the way he mixes stuff up. This new guy at the head, his head gonna be spinning, man. It's different in
Mm-hmm.
the playoff. Just for players, it's the same way with coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Your time management gets tighter, all types of little stuff. This dude been to a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he's been through it, and he got you at home. Even though people may on paper say you're better because of the receiver, the two receivers they have. What's the kid that's signed for all that money? Really good receiver. Plays for Minnesota.
Jefferson.
Yeah, and then the other kid went to Pitt.
Oh, and Addison. Yeah. Minnesota's got some guys. Yeah, for sure. And Aaron Jones at running back, he's not washed either. I mean, you want to look at why Darnold's been successful. He's got probably the top or second best receiver, wherever you want to put him and Chase. They're one or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Addison, who's probably a legit, I mean, he's better than anybody the Chiefs have. He's better than anybody the Steelers have, not named Pickens when Pickens is playing correctly. I'd put him up there with Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's good. I
Yeah,
really
he's
think he's
good.
that good.
And he's only in the second year.
And he is, yeah. And again, Aaron Jones, that's a great signing to bring him over, and he's kind of rejuvenated. They got a good O line. And again, Kevin O'Connell's a good head coach. Like he can call some games. And I think he's actually from the Shanahan tree also,
So they know each other.
if memory serves. But I'd have to look that one up. But yeah, no, it's Minnesota doesn't suck. They're good. I
No,
mean,
they're good.
they didn't just fall into this spot.
But it's playoff time, and I'm gonna give it to the home team on this one. And I'm gonna say 24, 24-17. 24-17. I just after watching them against Detroit, I think they can be slowed down. I think they took a snapshot of that. The Rams have whatever they were going to do. They're going to probably do some of that too. Detroit didn't do nothing special. They just outplayed them. You
And
know
the
what I'm
Rams
saying?
have already beaten them once too.
Yeah.
So
So here you go. So on you,
I got the Rams 27-20. LA's got a lot to play for with the fires and everything. I don't know if those guys stay in that area. The stadium's nowhere near it. But you got a lot to play for, which could be a distraction in LA. But with the fires and everything, and you know, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. You're the home team. Um, I think that puts a battery in their back.
matter of fact, I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and I was checking on family to see how they were doing because they live in like Rancho Cucamonga and places like that in that area. But they said it was more in the hilly area, the wooded area, that they're fine. But they said they're used to it. They said they grew up with that. Man, it's one of them situations like we feel about snowstorms, blizzards, and tornadoes. You know, same thing. It's how California feels about earthquakes and fires. But them fires is crazy because they go out of
Yeah,
control.
I think this is different. I don't know. I've never followed one as closely as this one, but it feels a lot different. Um, you were talking about leveling like some pretty high income areas, and not to say that those people's places are any more valuable, but that I don't know. A lot of houses
it
are.
certainly gets a lot more attention when that happens. I mean, that's just the nature of our world right now. Is when it affects wealthier people, we tend to pay attention a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more to it. But from you guys can speak on it more because I've been to LA. I can count on one hand how many times I've been. I just know how big it is, like how vast LA is in their metro area. But it sounds like it's running roughshod through a pretty big chunk of it at the moment. It just kind of sucks. I mean, because there's nothing you can really do about it that fixes it now. There's a lot of stupid ideas on Twitter, so stay off of Twitter.
What does it say
I'm
on
already
Twitter?
know.
Well, one of them was there's a whole ocean there, and had to explain that when you put salt on ground, nothing grows there. Like militaries have been doing that for centuries and centuries. They called it salting the earth. That the salt of the earth is they would put salt there and keep the civilization from existing anymore there. But you got these idiots who are like, "Well, there's a whole ocean with water." It's like, just stop talking, sit this one out.
And these are like what, like 80 plus mile per hour winds. Like they couldn't even fly
Yeah,
helicopters for
I
all
was
of
just gonna say that. Like, I'm not sure even that would solve it right now.
them.
But
Yeah,
again, I'm no wildfire expert at all. That's not something we deal with here ever.
I think they're finally
Okay,
getting that under control.
so basically, that's our playoff picture. Next week, the 1 and 2 seeds, the 1 seed in both conferences will be playing. They'll know uh, their opponent after the game, after the games this weekend. But basically, take a look at your phones, and then I'll just we'll go from there. But yeah, but basically, and I'll be right back. Still a Nation Midwest. We're still in the middle of our podcast, but first I want to talk about several of my sponsors who helped me out immensely. The first one is People of Color Beauty Nail Polish, based in Los Angeles. You can go to Amazon. You can go to People of Color Beauty uh, Instagram page. You can go on Facebook and see her page and all her information. She's been on Good Morning America, and also received an award from Oprah for all her due diligence with this new endeavor. So I'd like to say thank you again to People of Color. The other one is Compass Timepieces, extravagant, excellent, high-end timepiece, crafted in Switzerland, designed by David Carrington, based in Los Angeles. Uh, one of my few sponsors. He basically started this 4 years ago and is doing a tremendous job with his company. We're talking high-end watches, so we're talking watches with the mechanisms from Switzerland that last forever. The pricing is pretty steep, but it's a wonderful product. If you wear one of those watches, you'll probably have it forever, and you'll be able to pass it down. Third sponsor, Young Blades Fades, All Natural LLC, located in Jazzy Cuts Barbershop, 120 Blue Ridge Boulevard. His name was Tez Dreadlock Barber. Young Blades Fades. That's it, Young Blades Fades. He cuts my hair. He does beats. He does workout programs for young and upcoming athletes. He does it all, man. So make sure you give him a shout out. Jazzy Cuts, get your hair cut. And then if you need a local DJ, DJ Foots. You can go on DJ Foots' business page on Facebook and get all his pricing information. You can also reach him at his Yahoo account, which is also located on his business page on Facebook. It'll have all the information that you need on how to contact him for any event that you have, whether it's a wedding reception, two-step competition, whatever it may be, even a party on the run. He does it all. So thank you, sponsors, for helping Stiller Nation Midwest. All right. Can we reach Heffley? You're
My
muted.
bad. My bad. Heffley had to. Heffley had to go.
Okay, that's fine. So that was right. That was perfect timing. But I think I'm gonna cut that out because I had a prompt. I had a what is it? The
Your
teleprompter.
script. Yeah.
Uh, it was on my other one, and I didn't get a chance to transfer it to this one. So that's okay. But did you mark that though?
I did.
Where'd you mark it at? At the start of it?
I marked it at the end. I can't remember if I marked it before, but I definitely marked it after
What the
sponsorship.
definitely marked it after. We'll let it ride then. So are we paused right now?
That's on you.
All right. So we're back. My guests had to leave their chat and go on with their daily routines. I still have one of my guests and producer here with me, George Jefferson, big time Broncos fan, and also my man. That's my guy, good guy. Been helping me a lot with this stuff here. So, but I'm glad y'all joined us today here at Stiller Nation Midwest, and I look for more updates, and we'll be doing the playoff preview for those games following next week. So whoever wins this week will move on, and we'll do this again. So look for it. Thank you.